Good morning. As it's a chilly February morning. We're finally going to be able to talk about the Carson Wentz trade that happened on Thursday. And I know I'm a little late. I do know that. But it gave me the chance to also think about it all last night and even into this morning. Carson Wentz, as we already know, and as you already know, was traded for a third-round pick and a conditional second-round pick that could become a first-round pick next year, as if Wentz has 75% of the snaps. Now, the reason why I wanted to wait, it was because I wanted to see if I could decipher how could I compare the Wentz trade to the Goff and Stafford trade. And I think I've been able to do it. But obviously, the trade was a third round pick and a conditional second, which is like all I thought he could get. I thought they could only get a third at highest because of how bad the value is for him, for Carson Wentz. The Eagles end up taking a big dead cap hit because Wentz was owed third day of the league year, $10 million more in bonus, which gives him the biggest cap hit, the biggest dead cap hit in history. Only in half of Carson Wentz's games, he's never been to the playoffs. He's never performed, like, besides that MVP caliber year where he's performed. That was the only year he really like, oh, that's the guy. Like, we saw it flashes a few years ago, but not the same. But the Eagles made false claims that the Bears were leading the pack in terms of what they were offering in a trade for Wentz, which was not true. The Bears actually came out and said, not just did we not make a claim, we're not even interested in Carson Wentz. They were trying to get the Colts, who they ended up trading Wentz to, who actually has the new head coach of the Eagles, was the offensive coordinator for the Colts under Frank Reich just last year. So you knew that was pretty much where he was going to go. But the Colts were not budging, and I don't think they were going to get anything more than that. And they're probably right, they were not going to get anything more. So they made the trade. They would have had to sooner than later, but again, to make false claims just showed you that you were not going to make anything, clearly. But who won this trade is, let's look at it on the Eagles side. You keep Jalen Hurts, you're pretty much committing to Jalen Hurts. You potentially can get a second first round pick in next year's draft, which is great. But the problem with that is your team doesn't draft very well. You draft Jalen Reagor before Justin Jefferson and Van Jefferson. You drafted a running back ahead of DK Metcalf. So everyone had a valuable shot at this thing. But they not going to draft very well unless the draft class was loaded. And they take a big cap hit for this because they were committed to it. Remember when I said earlier this year about my two theories about ownership either wanted Wentz and Peterson wanted to play Hurts, or ownership wanted to play Hurts and Peterson wanted to play Wentz. Either way, it still led to a situation where now Doug Peterson is fired and now Carson Wentz is in a different city, which is an amazing stat that I saw about an hour or so later after the trade went down. Now, quarterbacks from 2009 to 2016 in that time are no longer with their first team. They've either been cut, moved to a different team, traded, or whatever they've done, or they've retired. Because it's just, and I thought about it, first round quarterbacks. That's remarkable because there's a lot of first round quarterbacks. But comparing this to the Stafford and Goff trade, it's not comparable in a lot of ways because the Rams basically gave up 3 first round picks, including a quarterback who 5 years ago was the number 1 overall pick. He got traded. And so now the Rams don't have a first round pick for 8 years, which is a very risky move, suggesting because of Matt Stafford's age, he's 33 years old. If he goes to, he's also due to, in March, around the same time, to get an $8 million bonus. So there's still that to work around. It's going to be interesting. The Rams are going to have to find a way to make some money because I think Brockers is a free agent. And there's just, I believe, like, I know Brockers is a free agent. I believe, like, Aaron Donald there was talks of them trying to move Aaron Donald to Detroit and that trade, and that never materialized. But again, like, it's very shocking. That's the way they looked at it. But who won the trade between all 4 of these teams? I'm going to say the teams that won this trade were the Colts and Detroit, the Lions. Because here's why. The Colts won this trade because they gave up no value, pretty much, to Philadelphia. They didn't budge. Because they knew they were going to either have to cut him or trade him. They were not going to keep him. And that's what happened. They traded him. And in Detroit, you knew, okay, if Goff doesn't work out, we go draft somebody. We go draft somebody at quarterback. Or we go get somebody. Because we can do that. Because our draft capital is not very good. But look at how we've performed over the last few years. It's been better. We just need to figure it out. But again, on the Lions side, they have to pay Marvin Jones. They got to pay Kenny Golladay. That's a huge, huge thing. Where, on the Rams' point of view, yes, they got Matt Stafford, but going a full 8 years without having a first-round pick is dangerous. Same for the Eagles, trading Carson Wentz away without, I think a lot of it was because Carson Wentz wasn't used to the competition. North Dakota State is not a place for competition. So, but it is very interesting to see that both Goff and Wentz get traded with like a month in between each other. That's amazing to me. But what do you guys think? Who won this trade? I'm Jacob Hubert.